Such a privilege on World Running Day to have an ex-long distance runner, these days a sit-up extraordinaire. I'll tell you all about this now. First, let me introduce Terry Gibbon. Hello, how are you doing?
Hi, fine, thank you. Yourself?
Fine and fabulous, thank you very much. So, Terry, I get Gateway News, and on Gateway News, I see this whole article about how you want to break the Guinness World Record. For 2,477 was the world record, the current official world record before Saturday. And then here comes Terry Gibbon, all the way from Quebec, deciding I'm going to break that record. So, Terry, before we jump into why anyone would want to do that, let's introduce you as a person. If you had to introduce your personality, what you do every day, who is Terry Gibbon?
Yeah, that's a long, complicated story, but it's become very simplified now that I met Jesus. I'm a follower of Jesus today, and I'm trying to live as closely to his lifestyle as possible. But I come from a very messy background, and he's turned a mess into a message, basically. Somewhere in 1987, they say one flew over the cuckoo's nest, and I developed severe OCD, scrupulosity, and that when I came from the border and so forth in my second year in parachute battalion, and I couldn't adapt to society for many, many years. Turned to alcohol and then drugs, and my life was a total mess. And I just thank God for turning things around this year. I've been to many, many churches in my life, and through a group called Men of Honor and Oasis Church in Charlotte, these people really got through to me, because these are guys with similar backgrounds, ex-SADF, ex-police, come from messy backgrounds, and they could relate to me and know what I'm going through. And these people really inspired me, and through Jesus, obviously, turned my life around.
Terry, I have to ask you, as someone who's not been in the army in any way, never gone to the border, don't understand, you see how people are affected, but you don't understand why. If you had to try and explain to someone, what is it about being there? What is it that you see, and why is it so hard to then integrate back into normal society?
I think it's just the training you go through in those days, apartheid days, obviously. You get totally indoctrinated to think any person of a different color is a terrorist. You get indoctrinated against gays, you get indoctrinated against everything. So when you come back to civilian street, you cannot adapt because you hate everything. Everything is totally contrary to what you were indoctrinated with, and you cannot adapt to society. I for 6 months, when I came back from the army, I went on a drinking spree every night of the week because I couldn't adapt otherwise. But fortunately, things changed, and I went on to medication eventually, and I'm trying to come off it now. I've been off it for 2 months, Sileft for scrupulosity, OCD. But, I've replaced everything with faith now. All the fears and contradictions in my life, I'm replacing daily with faith. And all you need is faith like a mustard seed.
Yeah. Tell me, when you now join Men of Honor, so you walk in there, and because you've got a hard heart, and because you want things to change, but you've tried it so many times that it doesn't work, when you walk into a fellowship of people who actually understand what's going on, is it hard for you to start listening to another opinion than what you've heard before? Or were you at a desperate enough place that you were willing to listen to anyone who can give you some hope?
Yeah, well, I came from Cape Town. Unfortunately, a job opportunity fell through there, and I came back heartbroken because I wanted to be close to my family. My dad's in frail care, not in a good condition at all. My mom's deaf, also not in a good condition at all. And my poor sister that's got a heart of gold, Tanya, is taking care of the whole family basically on her own. She's put them on her medical. She's got a very good job, but she does everything for them, even looks after their dog and feeds them. So it was a heavy guilt burden on me that I'm the eldest son and I'm doing nothing, but I never had the means to do anything except love them. And when that fell through, I went on another spree from Cape Town all the way back to I landed up in Central on the 1st of February in Quebeca, and it wasn't good. And then I finally knew, look, I was in rehab 10 years ago. Then I finally knew no more games. You got to take things seriously. And I knew about Men of Honor, and I started going to church again on the 5th of January, and on the 6th of January I went to my first Men of Honor meeting again, and things turned around from there. Everything didn't fall away at once. It was a process of 2 months that I came off drugs, antidepressants, and alcohol use.
So tell me, if I walk into a Men of I'm not a man, but if I was a man and I would walk into a Men of Honor meeting, what do you guys do?
Look, we sit and we chat. It's not a counseling group. Everything's godly, and we have socials now and again. We had a Brian Monday evening, shared stories with each other. We all come from similar backgrounds: alcohol abuse, drug abuse, homosexuality. There's certain people with sexual issues. There's people that have been in prison, people that have many stories, and obviously there's. Well, let's put it this way, normal guys, businessmen out there. But everyone, believe you me, we all wake up every morning and we struggle with the flesh. There's something in the flesh we struggle with, and we can relate to each other and be there for each other. And I've met an amazing group of people, and I've got to make special mention of Andrew Johnson. He's an ex-Eastern Province rugby player, played 123 games for them from 1978 until 1989. He's an absolute legend, and he's struggling a lot with injuries today, but that man will bend over backwards no matter what you do, and he walks with you, and he doesn't come down on you like a ton of bricks if you make a mistake. He's there to guide you and assist you in every way he can. And I worry about him sometimes, because he carries, like Jesus carried everyone's burdens on his shoulders. That's what Andrew does.
Sure. These people, they impress you when they just keep on loving, when you know you're not supposed to be loved, or someone's not supposed to have that kind of patience with you. They show the character of Jesus. I am curious about this. So you've tried church before. Why did Jesus get through to you this time? I mean, he's still invisible. He's still a God that's in the spiritual realm, and you physically have your problems here right now. So you join this group and people understand what you're going through. But how did the connection with Jesus, I want to say, take this time?
Jesus showed me through true Christians, true men of God, that he is alive. There's so much hypocrisy out there, and the churches are full of people, but they go there to fulfill themselves and to feel good about themselves. And in this church, and I'm not pointing fingers, all churches are good, and I was involved in other good churches too. But I think especially with the Men of Honor group, it's people you can relate to. It's everything in one. People that welcome you to their home, invite you to come and eat at their place for dinner. Most churches, everyone sees each other at church, and that's it. They go home, back to next Sunday to church. These people really take an interest in your life. Really, they do.
Oh, that's very precious. Well, you obviously related with the rugby because you've got a rugby background as well. You were also an endurance runner when you were 20, but because of injuries, you couldn't go on. But that doesn't stop you from still having a healthy lifestyle and pursuing some lofty goals. How did the sit-up thing get all important in your life?
Yeah, look, when I was in the paratroopers, I was always, we did a lot of bodyweight exercise, sit-ups, pull-ups, push-ups, and I was always top in the sit-ups. So I've always had that core strength. And look, I was a long-distance runner. My dad pushed me from the age of 12, 13. I was already running ultra-marathons and marathons. And like I said, at the age of 28, I had my last knee operation. They did a lateral release on my tendons and also arthroscopy, and the doctor advised me avoid all impact sports. And that's the same year I went through a breakup, and my son and I, he was 6 years old at that stage, and mentally I was not in a good place. And the breakup was my own fault anyway because of my instability. And for many, many years, I was in the wilderness trying to fill that void with alcohol, drugs, women. Nothing ever seemed to work for me. And I'm totally relying on God at the moment. I'm unemployed. The gym is now busy with an offer that I can start a personal training studio at the church. And I resigned 2 months ago from my job because everything I was doing in that job was unethical. It was in the sales game, commission, and it was totally ungodly.
Sure.
The sales principles I was supposed to apply. So I knew in that environment I would never fully be able to commit myself to God. So I'm relying on God now, and God is opening doors for me. So I'm very thankful for that.
So then why did you decide, I know now sit-ups is your strong point, this is something that you can do, but you decided I'm going to do that many. By the way, how many did you do in 1 hour this past Saturday?
Yeah, I did 2,547, so I broke the world record by 70.
Which means how many in 1 minute then?
That equates to about 42.5 a minute. I actually did a lot better in training, but if you go online and you watch Men of Honor, Port Elizabeth Facebook, and you watch the video, at 35 minutes, it's never happened before. I started getting severe cramps in my calves, that my legs were basically seizing up, that I could hardly move them, and that slowed me down a lot. But God pushed me through. It was God that pushed me through. The guys were praying for me, interceding during the event, and I made it.
Because there is something about physical exercise that is a very spiritual experience. I mean, there are lessons learned. You keeping on when you're in pain, that's life right there, happening right there. The tenacity to go on and to not give up, even when you really, really want to give up. Have you learned some life lessons through exercise?
Yes, even in my road running days, there was nothing better than on a Sunday or Saturday to go on a long run. It releases endorphins, that fresh air, that sweat. I love to sweat when I'm, I went into the weight training scene for a while. I weigh 75 now, but I went onto steroids and I weighed 85. I wanted to get into this bigorexia thing, but it's, we've all got issues out there, and it's because of self-worth issues that we pursue all these things. But I'm happy at my weight now, and I'm starting a little studio now at the church called Fit for Jesus. And there's a lot of guys at Men of Honor that need to get in shape. You know who you are. And I'm not going to stop nagging you because I care for you.
There you hear it. You know who you are, when you fit or not. So, with doing your fitness studio now as well, is the plan to only work on how well they're doing physically, or will you be using that to have some deep discussions with people as well?
Yes, obviously deep discussions. It's not just going to be church members and, Men of Honor members. It's open to public. I will advertise, obviously, anyone that wants to get into shape. I've been there. I've had the injuries, anyone with knee injuries, anyone even with mental issues, because physical exercise is very good for mental issues. And then, we actually, the church is actually, it's not their building at the moment. We're busy with a massive project for 4 years already in Thieskamp, where we're going to be building a community center, a fruit and vegetable garden, school for special needs, a soup kitchen, a feeding scheme. So we're envisaging a great work of God there too. So we're busy with this plan, and my next fundraiser will be, I'm planning to break a world record. That is what I've promised God and myself every 2 months from now. And so my next world record will be for 30-minute sit-ups. And I will try and break every record there is between 1 minute and 2 hours in the next year. And then I will maybe venture into push-ups or something like that.
So how does this now work? Do you have to let the Guinness World Book of Records know that you've done this and then provide them with video footage as evidence? How does it work for them to actually acknowledge your record?
Yeah, look, Guinness Book of World Records, they've got a very, very long waiting list. They get thousands of applications every month, and it's a long procedure. So I sent off my request with them about 3 months ago, still waiting for a reply. And then the new Guinness Book of World Records is called the Book of Alternative Records, record setters. They have replied to me, and record holders is the governing body for any world record. So what I've got to do now, I've got to send off the 2 judges' score sheets and obviously the full video of the event, the side video, that footage. And it's got to be signed off by 2 commissioner of oaths. So that's got to go to Germany. They're based in Germany. So I'm sending that off. I'm actually flying to Cape Town today to see my parents and my family that I haven't seen in a long, long while. It's my dad's 83rd birthday tomorrow, and I thank God for him still being with us. And then, I should get a response within a week from them to make it official now. But we've been through the video footage, and we're very, very sure it will be a minimum of 2547.
Wonderful. Okay, one last word. You get to speak to South Africa. I know that you want to inspire anybody who has any kind of self-doubt that with Jesus anything is possible. So speak to South Africa. You've got a minute. What is on your heart if you had, after everything that you've been through, to inspire this country with?
All I can say to South Africa is, there's a quote in the Bible that says, "Come to me, you are heavy burdened, and I will give you rest." You're not going to find your solution through drugs, alcohol, women, sex, pornography, gambling. That is just that's like pressing a self-destruct button, and I went through that road for many, many, many years, believing I always had to have alcohol, drugs, antidepressants, women, one of those things to fill my life. So take your finger off that button and have faith like a mustard seed. That's all I can tell you. They say faith like a mustard seed can move mountains, and within these 2 months, mountains have been moved in my life, which I never thought was possible. Believe you me, and just give Jesus a chance to do a miracle in your life.
And then you can go to Facebook, find Men of Honor. They've got their page. And who knows, maybe you can start a group like that. It's made all of this difference in a man called Terry Gibbon, 55 years old, just broke a world record for sit-ups. And who knows what God can do in your life as well to start something that can make that big a difference in someone's life.